Yeah. Yeah. Do it. What up, Twitch? What's happening? All right. We live on Twitch and we also recording this week's program. All right. So we're going to start it officially right now. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back. Felt like it's been forever. Welcome back to another episode of Two and a Half Heels. I am your host with the most, Uncle Black, with the hat to the back. And as you see, I'm joined by Mr. Ali this week. What up, Unc?
What up, what up? And as you can see, my tagline, I am the cream of the crop.
Ooh, yeah. Dig it. The macho madness going on. Hey, look, Bree is on vacation. She's out and about, and she'll be back next episode for sure. But we gonna hold it down.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she is looking forward to the next episode after what happened at Bash in Berlin. I mean, we gonna talk, but I'm pretty sure she has a lot to say about arguably the best match of the evening. Meltzer 6-star rating.
Oh, we'll get into that in due course. Let's take care of the housekeeping.
The TED Talk.
Oh, absolutely. First things first, we gotta get everything out the way. Welcome. We are here. Welcome to the program. We out here getting it cracking. Go check out the Wrestling Society.com. Shout out to our friends over there at WSN. Shout out to Boss Man Brady. Shout out to Professor Bear. Welcome back, brother. Shout out to everybody over there that's helped propel this website and this wonderful group of men and women into another stratosphere as far as what we're doing here. But it's a lot of good things going over there on the WrestlingSociety.com. Go pull up. Speaking of WSN, yep, as you said, it is TED Talk time. This week's TED Talk is all sponsored by the Wrestling Society Network. Go check them out. Bree isn't here, so I'm gonna hold it down. Fuck Liv Morgan. That's her line. Fuck Liv Morgan. Also, we're gonna do fuck Dom Mysterio because that's what she be saying. Also, fuck Finn Balor. She also wanted me to put fuck Carlito and JD, but I wasn't doing that. I wasn't gonna do that because Carlito is hilarious. And Carlito and JD are just doing their job. So I'm not going to throw them in the TED Talk. Unless they do something that warrants it, then I will. But until then, we ain't even going to do that. And also, fuck CM Punk. Even though he did get the victory, he did win. We'll talk about that in due course. But yeah, we got to
Did he win, though? Like, did he really win?
He got out of there in one piece. And last piece of business, OTC. There we go. So yes, man. I guess since you already kind of alluded to it, the most recent wrestling that's on our brains is the Bash in Berlin, and it was I enjoyed the program from start to finish, so we can get into the results and we can give our thoughts on it. All right,
let's go. Let's get it.
All right, first match on the card, we had Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Undisputed Ultra Mega Universal Heavyweight Championship against one of his best friends in WWE right now. I think another man who hates the bloodline just as much as Cody, Kevin Owens. And what I would say was a match that I feel like everybody possibly knew the outcome of it because we know that Kevin Owens in any circumstance wasn't going to win this belt here. And I think that pretty much gave them the free reign to be like, all right, since we know Kevin's not going over, let's do everything we can to make it look like he is. And I think they tried, and I think they achieved it. Especially, it was smooth for them to go on first because you had so much narrative in all the other matches toward the end. I feel like that is what really, really set the show up for success. But all in all, though, it was a show that I saw. It was a match that I saw that was, that was a solid opener for a championship, man.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. I want to say all these matches had like a story time in the ring kind of feel to them. So let me just get that out of the way. So each match had a storyline to it. So the match was with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. I say for my rating, I would give it a 4 out of 5 star rating. because the in ring action was it was awesome. Cody Rhodes selling the knee injury towards the end of the match. That played that little bit of intrigue. My favorite part of the match was when Wade Barrett was cursing out Kevin Owens, telling him like, "What are you doing? Like, go back to your
This
room."
shit.
The whole root of this whole match was Kevin Owens turns on all of his allies. Every person that he's aligned with, he's turned on. So you could kind of see Kevin Owens. You can see the wheels turning in his head. He had so many opportunities. Me personally, I would have shot the bullet. No pun intended. I would have
You
power
did it.
bombed him right on that ring apron, and I would have threw him in the ring, and I would have given him another pop up power bomb, and I would have took his belt. But he basically avoided doing any of his heel moves because those are his two heel moves: the power bomb on the ring apron and the pop up power bomb. You notice he only stayed exclusively with the stunner. He just kept using the stunner as his main move. Of course, his downfall is when he tried to do the Jeff Hardy Swanton bomb and it didn't work. Um, and Cody Rhodes has got it. He get on my nerves with these three crossroads. I'm very traditional, old school wrestling fan. You should only hit your finisher one time. One time show. It shouldn't take three times. It's like you're spamming the L button on the PlayStation 2 controller, you know what I mean, with these finishers. And this is getting on my nerves. But nonetheless, aside from my little rant, Cody Rhodes winning the match was as predictable could be. Because like I said before, you're not taking the belt off of Cody right now. There's so much intrigue with him being the champion. He is the ambassador of the WWE. He's the flag bearer, so you got to keep the belt on him to keep him strong. I will say he is a great storyteller. He's really worked on his storytelling from leaving early WWE, going independent, going to New Japan, being in AEW. He's really worked on those stories. If you watch any Cody Rhodes match, there is a story behind his matches. So I will say 4 out of 5 star rating. Kevin Owens not turning on at the end. You kind of see the wheels turning in his head when he did the handshake and everything like that. You kind of see him contemplating his thought process, like maybe shouldn't I, should have. But all in all, it was a good match. 4 out of 5. Cody Rhodes is still your champion.
Great storytelling in that regard because I was thinking like, is he going to do it? Because I've already been predisposed to watching him do it time and time again. So I was expecting it, but when I didn't see it, it was just like, all right, maybe he's on the straight and narrow this time. He's doing it right. But yeah, I guess he didn't want the championship because he could have had it. And Wade Barrett was justifiably mad, and it made all the sense in the world to me. And moving on from that match, if I'm not mistaken, the next match was the women's tag team championship match. And
Yeah.
according to your father, his favorites had to win because his favorite wrestler, if I'm not mistaken, is one Jade Cargill. What up, Poppy? Straight up. So and in that match, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair regained their women's tag team championships after what was quite the hot tag from one Jade Cargill. I think she's finding her place here, and I don't think that they need to break up anytime soon. Just
No, they
saying.
don't need to break up anytime soon. And again, another match that was very predictable in the outcome, considering the fact that technically Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill never actually got pinned to lose the belts.
At all.
Albert Fire and Isla Dawn, they pinned somebody else to win the belt. So basically, they were just basically holding the belts for them until they could get it back. So it gives the women's tag team championship a little bit more prestige. I will say that as you're saying right now, as far as breaking them up, I don't see a breakup coming right now. Not in 2024, but definitely 2025 because you need a big money match going into WrestleMania season. And what better big money match out between those two, unless you're going to position Jade Cargill higher in the rankings of the women's singles championship, which I feel like she will get there at some point. Giving her the belts, being with Bianca, is giving her a little bit more time to get acclimated to the WWE style of wrestling. Obviously, she's like a female Goldberg, but she can, do a little bit more moves. She power woman. I will say she has like I said, she's getting better. But I don't think that they need to expect a lot from Jade Cargill outside of her just being a dominant force. I mean, that's basically all she needs to be. Give her some power moves, you let her do her thing, and just leave it be. Bianca Belair obviously is the better of the two, more seasoned in the ring, more gifted as far as technically sound in the ring. Like I said, shout out to Albert Fire. I hope I'm saying their names right. Dawn and Fire.
Dawn and Albert
Yeah,
Fire.
they put up a great showing, defending their belts, but it was inevitable. They really didn't even defend their belts that much. They didn't. They just basically had the belts. They just had them, and they didn't just kind of held on to them until they gifted them back to Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair. But like I said, shout out to those women, the Avengers. You know what I mean? Getting the belts back. I would say for a rating, a star rating, I would say I give it a 3 out of 5. Give it a 3 out of 5. It was
I
solid.
say three too. Three's a
Yeah, it was
good. Three's
solid,
a
but it
good
wasn't
number.
nothing special. It was a solid match.
Listen, I pop for the Jade hot tag, man, because I feel like again, just seeing her from I remember watching her come into AEW from where she was. I mean, she is the epitome. I feel like pro wrestling has went from I feel like it's always been this learn on the job type situation. And Jade has epitomized that learn on the job mentality of, all right, every time I go out here, the goal is to get better, get my shit in, and get better at the same time. And she has been
Mhm.
doing very well in that regard. And new women's tag team
Totally agree.
champion. All right, so from there, we get abusive, ladies and gentlemen. We get to the aforementioned strap match with one Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Now, spoiler alert, y'all. CM Punk won the match. Let's put that out there now. I'm not gonna take the piss because he looked great and he did a lot. I mean, bumps that I know under any other circumstances he probably wouldn't have took them things. So kudos to Phil for getting out there and doing his thing. That probably be the most I compliment him on this episode. I'm gonna stop right there. But one thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna let you speak your piece on it. The bracelet, the most over item in this entire feud right now. CM Punk got the bracelet back only after Drew took the bracelet out of his trunks. And when Punk won the match, he put the bracelet on his wrist. And
Mm,
then he
mm,
kissed it. Mwah.
mm, mm,
Bruh, the bracelet was in
mm.
Drew trunks, like near his dick. Excuse me, censors. Ew. But in all of that, CM
There
Punk
wasn't
was
no
doing
Listerine
everything.
around the ring. I was looking around. I was like, you gonna wash your mouth off, or you just gonna just
That's nasty.
kiss that man's
Very,
nuts like that?
very
But
nasty.
anyway,
How you feel about Punk getting a big fat dub
I'm gonna say first
in
and
Berlin?
first and foremost, CM Punk made it through a match without injury, so
Come
that's the
on now.
first thing we gotta get out of the way. He made it out of the match without injured free somewhat. The match itself, it I mean, Drew McIntyre attacked him right from the onset. He
Yeah,
didn't even let him get in the
cracking.
ring. Got it cracking. There was some blood action going on. A little bit of Kool Aid action going on. Um, the rules of how they did this particular strap match.
Old
Uh,
school, baby. It's right,
it
right up
was
your alley, man. This is an old school hit the corners. They just put
yeah, it
lights
was
there
old
for
school.
everybody.
It was definitely old school four corners. Like I said, it was inevitable. You had to give CM Punk his win back because of the way that he lost at SummerSlam. With the shenanigans with Seth Rollins being the referee. Um, I honestly want to put a bow on this feud for right now. They're 1-1 right now. I feel like you can come back to this match if they wanted to do it at the next PLE, which is I think Bad Blood. I don't know. I really don't want to see them in a Hell in a Cell or a Steel Cage or whatever. I think the third match should actually be something legitimate on the line, a world championship that they should fight. If it's me personally, put a bow on it or stick a pin in it. It's 1-1. Drew McIntyre has definitely been taking a lot of losses, a lot of losses. But I feel like he's kind of bulletproof in that he's been such a great heel, um, in and out of the ring. So Drew McIntyre. But I will say at the end, the loss was inevitable. You had to give CM Punk some momentum. You can't have him lose two in a row just coming back to the WWE. So giving him his win back, giving him his bracelet back, all that other good stuff is fine with me. Honestly, for a star rating, I would give they definitely put on a show in Berlin, so I can't hate on.
Absolutely. And listen, if I had to give it a star rating out of five, this contest here definitely tugged on the heartstrings a bit much, and it was kind of hard for me to really go along with the idea that Drew was going to find some way to win because of what happened at SummerSlam, like you just said. But all in all, went out there and did what they did. I give it a four, smooth
Mhm.
4 out of 5 for me. I like that very much. And then from there, we get the Terror Twins taking on Dom Nasty and Live the Treacherous. I already said it once. I'm not gonna say it no more. We can just get down to the missile and the gristle. A lot of good spots in this match that it really accentuated the fact of, hey, Drew and Rhea are on and they are over AF. And if you need two big new stars going into Netflix, look no further than them right there. You dig what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
I also want to give a round of applause and respect where it's due because Dom is the only person I know who could already be a heel and then turn heel again. He double heel turned on us. And I feel like if you I don't know how he managed to pull it off, but the heat I feel like the heat is just gonna stay with him for the rest of his life. Like Dom can save a baby from a burning building and they will still boo that man on Raw come Monday. I guarantee it. But you know, it's what's going on, and the man knows what to do. The man knows how to work it. So of course, if you saw the match, you know that Damian and Rhea got the victory as expected because the stories just have to end up with a nice, pretty bow at the end of it. But I don't think that this is the end of this situation because Finn Balor has to get his, and he has to go up against Damian Priest next. So I just can't wait to see how this will go along until we get that eventual match between Finn Balor and Damian Priest. How about you?
Absolutely agree with you. And like what you just said, this is definitely my favorite match of the evening. This is the match that I have watched 3 times already just because of everything. Like I was telling you, this pay per view was all about story time in the ring. You would look no further to this one match right here. I mean, you got everything that you wanted in this match. The minute that Rhea got her hands on Dominic Mysterio and was beating the brakes off of him, and then a little callback to the throwback from last year when she got him in the corner and she put that leg
Put them legs on them. Wrap
grapevine on
them
him
thighs.
and
Wrap
just had
them
him screaming and
thighs up
everything like
on
that.
them.
That to me was the best part. Um, I will say underrated star of the match. Got to give Liv Morgan her props. I mean, she
Yeah.
definitely, she carried the ball. She hit a move in this match that I had never seen before, and to be honest, I think that move should be her finishing maneuver. I don't know what to call it.
Everybody
It was
say
like a,
that.
it was like a, it was a whirly
No,
bird or something. Basically, it was like a call.
listen, it's the GG drop. A lot
She
of
did
people, yeah.
it.
If you ever look up Gigi Dolan, that's her finish. It's the GG driver. I
Well,
don't think she does it
well,
anymore,
well.
but look,
Liv
great
hit that
execution.
move. Liv hit that move very well. That to me looks better than her Oblivion finisher. But of course, you had to know the shenanigans with the Judgment Day. You had to know all of them coming out was to be expected. Of course, Rhea Ripley getting her. It should have been
Left
me,
crest.
LOL. Yeah, Rhea Ripley getting her win back. on Liv Morgan, solidifying her fact that she now puts herself right back in the position of number one contender to be the champion again by getting that win. She got the pin. Damian Priest has been putting in a lot of work. I actually need to recant my statement. I said this about him maybe like a month and a half ago. I think it was when I was saying that his championship was kind of underrated. I actually need to recant that statement. His work since winning Money in the Bank at WrestleMania, I actually only really had one bad match. That was his first defense against main event Jey Uso. But outside of that, the work that Damian Priest has been putting in has been excellent. I mean, like I said, El Campeon is definitely a rising star. I definitely will keep him. I would say that he's earned his right to be a main eventer now. Obviously, he's going to go after Finn Balor next. That's the next storyline that we're looking at for the next couple months. And then I honestly was make him. You got to keep him high. You got to keep him right at the top. When you going in after Survivor Series, we start to build towards Royal Rumble season next year. You definitely want to have that guy in the top, as he's probably going to say Morgan for putting on absolutely the best match of the night. 10 out of 10. I mean, what more can I say? Like I said, it's a match I've already watched 3 times again. So it definitely was my favorite match of the evening. And I'm looking forward to the intergender match that will be happening between Rhea Ripley and Dominic Mysterio. We're definitely going to
It's
get that
not
match.
happening. You're
It
not
is
going
happening.
to do that.
It's
This is
happening.
gonna be
Listen,
arm drag after arm drag, and Dom is just gonna take
listen.
all of the bumps, yo. That's all. I feel like that's what that match is just gonna be.
No, it's gonna be a comedy of eras. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be one of those matches where it's like it shouldn't be no business having that, but Rhea is going to literally beat the brakes off of Dominic Mysterio, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And I can't wait to when they do this intergender match. So, but like I said, other than that, the tag team match was definitely the star match of the night, and like I said, 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5. If you want to do a Meltzer Japan, all the ratings you want, but that was my favorite match of the night.
From the Tokyo
Mm,
Dome.
yes.
Yo, I'm sure somewhere in the A Bree is just gleaming with joy over what
Mm,
happened because Dom got
mm,
his just desserts, and like you
yes.
said, Rhea definitely put herself in position to become the next number one contender. And as we round up the show here, very short
Mm,
program, very long matches. I do say
mm,
we get to the main event. We get to Randy Orton taking on Gunther for the
mm,
World Heavyweight Championship. And may I say, up until this point, the entire show, from top to bottom, this Germany crowd, this Berlin crowd, on fire all
mm,
night long, and they made the environment what it was. So,
mm.
shout out to them, WWE. Even though like the time differential will get us, and it'll really jack up a lot going on over here, it's worth it in the end when you see the product here. Yeah, what's happening? You just hey, Riss Palmer 001. What's
I
happening?
think it's very smart what WWE. Yeah, I think it's very smart what WWE is doing when they do these PLEs
For
overseas,
sure. Definitely gonna follow you
because
back. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for enjoying the
I think
program.
it's on that momentum that they got last year when they did Backlash in Puerto Rico. To me, I still feel like that was the livest crowd. I'm talking about. I had never seen a crowd so hyped, especially Bad Bunny's intro when he came
Yes.
out and the way that they screaming. But Triple H, from that point on, Triple H is like, okay, we got to start doing PLEs all around the
Over
world.
the
Go
world.
everywhere.
We got
Go everywhere because now they're reaching out like they well you say WWE is global. Now they really are making it so that they're global. And like I said, the German fans, they showed up and showed out. Walter Gunther, World Heavyweight Champion, and Randy Orton, the beef. Randy Orton,
yes, sir.
they
The
definitely put
baby.
on
Ah!
295. You know, the boy bulked up. He eating good. He's eating good.
The
This
man
match
is
here,
eating Nutella. That's what he
this,
eating. He
yes.
trying to
Now,
get
if I had
big.
to compare the two matches that they've had with each other, I'm going to say this match is slightly under the first match that they had, the King of the Ring final. I think the King of the Ring final to me was a better matchup, the way that they did it. But this wasn't a bad match. By no stretch of the means was this a bad match. Again, like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but the storytelling in this matchup was very, very on point. Randy Orton working on Gunther's right shoulder the whole time, just kept slamming him into the ring post and kept throwing him through the tables and back slamming him, and Gunther just being a Mack truck, giving it just as much as he was receiving from Randy Orton. And I've always said it. I said Gunther is to me the most complete wrestler in all of wrestling, the WWE right now, because he can beat you with a simple move. A simple move from any other wrestler would not beat someone, but Gunther does doing a simple move can beat you. I like the fact that he's becoming a more submission style wrestler. You know, his finishing maneuver is that sleeper hold. You know, he put Randy Orton to sleep. I mean, there's no other better way to win a match outside of a pinfall is to actually put someone to sleep. And, you know, Orton at the end, sportsmanship, you know, gentlemanly. Basically, the handshake was like a passing of the torch moment, basically to say you know you got the ball now. So and Gunther being a respectable heel, he's a heel, but he's a respectable heel.
There's
He's not a
honor.
yeah
Listen, the mat is sacred. There's honor in this, so that's
right.
why something like that he's gonna go ahead and do that.
He's not a weasel heel like Dominic Mysterio. He's not a heel that you hate.
You respect him because what
He's a
he's
heel
done.
that you can respect. And him for his first title defense, I think that, like I said, the longest reigning Intercontinental Championship solidified that win, beating Randy Orton. Actually, Orton's only lost 2 times, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this year since he's come back. And both times was a Gunther. I might be wrong, but yeah, Gunther, like I said, great matchup. Randy Orton, I give it 4 stars out of 5. Now we can look forward to Gunther versus CM Punk. Punk made his intentions known that he was going to go after the World Heavyweight Championship, and I'm looking forward to seeing Punk in his behind get his brains beat out because whew, that boy don't know what
I
he's in
know,
for.
I know I know a pissed off Scott that won't let that happen. So we'll see how that story plays out week to week. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Bash in Berlin. And moving on from that program, overall for an entire show, heavy 4.5 out of 5. I feel like
Mm,
it was just like there was a certain mystery lacking of, oh, I don't know who's, like there's no, I can't figure out who's going to win or lose. Like you could predict every match. So with that aspect being good of it, the show itself was bomb, but the predictability thing is just like, all right. So yeah, 4.5 out of
yeah,
5.
Paul Triple H Select, the king of the 5 star PLE. You know, 5 match PLE. Paul Levesque. That's all you getting. Five
That's
matches.
it.
That's all you get. You get 5 matches. You better choose them wisely because if not, you get no more.
You got to remember, I know Hunter came up in them times where it was 13 matches on this show. So you had 7 minutes to get all your shit in and then get out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to see the change of pace, giving superstars time to develop and, actually had a time to get out there and actually feel the crowd out and make these moments happen. So that's
Mm-hmm.
great. Moving on
Absolutely.
from that, man, we got NXT No Mercy just took place, man. We'll brush through that.
NXT.
Everybody
Mercy.
don't be
Yeah.
talking about NXT like that, but let's get the main story beats out the way. Joe Hendry had an amazing
Michaels
match
put on
with,
another good pay per view.
come on now, showing
You
with the
know.
pin over in NXT cooking. He
Mm-hmm.
had an amazing match with All Ego, Ethan Page. Of course, Joe Hendry was not victorious in the contest, but I mean, if you want to see the impression left on the entire WWE universe, Just go find it. It's on the WWE page. Go find Joe Hendry's entrance at NXT No Mercy, and you tell me that in a reality where Joe Hendry is no longer under contract with TNA, that this man is not main roster ready already. So again, go watch the entrance and then come back, come find me, Uncle Black 215 on everything, and then come talk to me and tell me if you think that I'm wrong in this regard, man. But the main event was popping. How you feel about that situation?
Well, I'm glad that All Ego Ethan Page is still your NXT World Heavyweight Champion. I'm very his days of being in AEW was very underutilized in AEW. I just think Tony Khan didn't really have nothing to do with for him. He's a great talker. He's got the look of a superstar, of a champion. Joe Hendry, he's going to be NXT champion. Loss doesn't affect him. It doesn't move him down on the rankings. Essentially, he is Shawn Michaels, Sami Zayn. He's the modern day Sami Zayn of the NXT. You know, he's going to take some losses, but he's got the intro, he's got the music, he's got the crowd behind him. He's a very good in-ring worker. Like I said before, I wouldn't be surprised if he won the NXT championship around WrestleMania season. Generally, WrestleMania seasons when they kind of change the NXT championship around that time. But like I said before, just kind of get his feet wet, WWE NXT style of things. And like I said, Ethan Page put on a great matchup. Trick Williams he looked like he didn't want to make that 3 count. He looked conflicted the whole night, being the special guest referee. The post match beat down by Pete Dunne, giving him the bitter end on the outside of the ring. That's gonna be a nice little feud going
Yes,
for the right to see who becomes the number one contender to Ethan Page in his NXT championship. So, I mean, I'm not really complaining about the main event. That was a great match. And like I said, yeah, all ego,
all right.
all day.
Oh yeah. So listen, we got to do this one time. I gotta. This is for Bree. I'm gonna clip this just for you, okay? Just so you understand how much we miss you over here on the program, okay, Bree? This next highlight is especially for Bree. The NXT Tag Team Championships were on the line, where Axiom and Nathan Frazier were challenging Chase U for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And in this match, Chase U lost. So, and new NXT Tag Team Champions Axiom and Nathan
They
Frazier.
lost
But
more than
let's
their
not
championships. They lied. They got
let
beat down at the end.
they got whooped on, but let's talk about what we here to talk about. And Bree, I'm sorry. Ridge Holland did what everybody thought Ridge Holland was finna do in the first place. And you know what? The slow cooker. They show him put this in the damn crock pot and let this sit on simmer for a long time. And now that it's done, the lid is off. Is falling right off the bone because Ridge Holland destroyed Andre Chase so bad that they gave him the stretcher treatment, man. And oh, poor redacted. You know what, Brie, I understand why it's F this, man. I knew before, but now I get it. Damn you, Ridge Holland. Damn you. Your thoughts on that,
Well, like I said, I'm familiar a little bit with Chase U. I knew that they were like a jobber tag team. From what my understanding is, them winning the NXT championships were kind of like a shock. And like you said, Brie, the last time she was on the program, she was so disgusted. Like she just, like it was like someone farted in her cereal, and just like her face was just like, But now, wherever she's at, I know she's gleefully smiling and happy about that. They were transitional champions. You got to have that in every sport. You got to have a transitional champion, even if the belts go back to the original previous holders or new ones. That's what Chase U was. They said let's give them a little bit of a starlight moment. They had it, then they lost it, and then they got beat down by Rich Holland. So now they can go back to being jobbers again. So
All right, one time for Bree, I've instituted a new button and I'm sure that she'll love this when she comes back. That's for you, Bree. I hope that you enjoy. I hope you enjoy that one. I'm sure
Mhm,
she'll get a kick and get a hoot out of that one.
mhm,
But in other news, Kalani Jordan retained her NXT North American Women's Championship in a
mhm,
match against Wendy Chu. And also, Roxanne Perez retained her NXT Women's Championship against Jada Parker in a hard fought battle, which was only, superseded by the final arrival of is it Gilia? Is that how you pronounce her name?
Julia, I guess.
Julia, making her
Julia.
well anticipated debut here on NXT, and
Mhm,
she is here. And that match is going to slap like ribs off the barbecue grill. You feel me?
mhm,
Any
mhm.
thoughts on any of the other matches on NXT? No Mercy.
Well, like you said, you just recapped the women's matches. Of course, Obafemi retained his NXT North
Hey,
American Championship.
did you see that man rip the Velcro off the belt? I don't think he knew that he already had it separated. That man is crazy. I know
Hmm.
a lot of
Yeah,
people want
yeah,
Obafemi
that's
to
how
get
strong that guy is. I told
drop
you,
the
it's
belt
time for
and
him to
get
be
the
called up.
NXT. Yeah, drop the belt and go get an NXT or a main roster title. Nah, I say we
He
we develop this
Joe
guy as
did.
much as we can.
He need to be like Samoa Joe. Just say, you know what, I'm bored of this belt and forfeit it, and then go after the NXT Heavyweight Championship belt. I don't really see
I would
anybody in NXT beating him for that belt.
pray for ego.
Just
Pray for all
you.
ego eating page, because
Mhm.
Lord, it's going
Yep.
down.
Yeah, and like I said, NXT pay per views are not bad. Shawn Michaels, great storyteller. He knows how to write the programs. He knows how to utilize the talent that he has, and he knows how to get the shine that they need to be successful. So that's the one thing I will say that I like about Shawn Michaels is NXT. Um, Not since the black and gold days of NXT has it been really like kind of reinvent that, or cultivate that NXT to make it so that when these wrestlers do get called up to the main roster, you can look at them and say like Carmelo Hayes and like Trent Williams when he gets up there. Certain wrestlers that you see them, you can buy them as instant champions as soon as they get to the main roster. So Shawn Michaels, great job, being the inspirational leader of the NXT kids down there. And yeah, like I said, it was a nice pay per view for them. You know, NXT No Mercy. So I can't complain.
All right. Well, listen. You know what? Since it's just you and me here, we finally get to talk about AEW because they're coming off
Mm-hmm.
a huge show as well. I think this is the first time I've been able to sit down and talk about it since then. We just had All In at
Mm-hmm.
Wembley Stadium, and I guess I'll start from the main event, and then we'll work our way back. And new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, the American Dragon, Brian Danielson.
Mm.
It's the final countdown.
Yeah, I watched that match. That match slapped for sure. Swerve Strickland going back to his heel roots, being the heel in the match. Um, Going into the match, I really thought that was going to be Daniel Bryan's last match. I think up until like a week before the pay per view, I ended up changing my mind. I was like, I don't know if it really is going to be his last match. And and like I said, like you and Bree said, well deserved. Brian Danielson definitely deserved to be NXT or not NXT AEW
AEW.
World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he's arguably the best wrestler in the world. Swerve Strickland taking the loss again to Brian Danielson is definitely, with a little bit of interference, not too much, but a little bit of interference from Hangman Adam Page, you know. So it's like, it revitalizes their feud again. So it's like now we're right back to square one again with Hangman being the de facto face and Swerve kind of being like the tweener. They're both tweeners right now. So they're like leaning on the face heel gate, both of them. But not to take it away from Brian Danielson, great champion, great win. He finally won on the big show. Love to see the ending with his family coming in at the end and him holding up the belt, his son and daughter in there, and Bree being in the ring. That was a great, great hallmark moment for him. Like I said, well deserved for Brian Danielson to win that AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Very happy for that man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. I think the match after before that one, I think it was Jack Perry taking on Darby Allin in a coffin match in which
Yeah.
Jack Perry, believe it or not, actually won. And Jack Perry was getting ready to return the favor. He was getting ready to set that boy on fire, but we got a return.
Mhm.
We got the return of Sting
Yeah, you got
to
the return
come
of
out there.
Darby's daddy. That's why I call him
It
Darby's
took
daddy.
it took Sting about 10 minutes to get to the ring. Listen, this building was huge, and this entrance ramp that AEW had, gigantic. So they
Yes.
had to give at least 5 minutes of time for entrances because Christ, those guys were either haul assing or if they was taking their time, it
Oh
took
yeah.
them forever. But it was a great show. Jack Perry ended up getting the victory, and that match was definitely crazy on a card that was nuts from top to bottom. Let's see if we can get through this. What else we had? We actually
That
had
match was that match was kind of like the worst match on the whole pay per view. Honestly, it was. I mean, it was your typical Darby Allin match. He's gonna bump like a boss. He's gonna take some crazy Jeff Hardy stunt falls. Jack Perry, that was actually Darby Allin's first loss in a coffin match. Believe it or not, he hadn't lost one until up to that point. Jack Perry being the TNT champion. I do like that TNT championship that he has. It's very nice craftsmanship on that belt. And Jack Perry, being the scapegoat, and now him challenging to be the number one contender to Brian Danielson. His first title defense will be against Jack Perry. I think that makes sense because Jack Perry was the one that pinned him, if I'm not mistaken, in a match not too long ago. So good
absolutely,
storytelling on AEW to keep that going. But yeah, Jack Perry winning. I'm not surprised at all.
absolutely. I think before that we had the tag
The,
team triple threat match where the Young Bucks retained against FTR and the Acclaimed.
Actually, it was the match before. Well, the match before that match was the Mercedes Monet
Oh,
Britt
thank you.
Baker. I got it because we're going backwards. We're working from the end up. So
All right,
let
bet. All
me
right, well then you just guide us the rest of this
yeah.
way, and then
Well, let me say
I
this right
just
now.
sprinkle my color, and you just do that.
Every time I see Mercedes Monet do that stupid dance, I feel like I want to drop kick her in her chest because it's the worst. It's like a wacky, waveable,
Oh,
inflatable two-man type of dance. And I get like, she's riffing off of her old character, but I liked
absolutely.
Sasha Banks. I liked how when she did her moves. I don't like Mercedes dance moves. But outside of that, the match was I think the match could have been better. They tried. They did. It was a little botchy for me. There was a few botch moves that they had in there. Um, age beef that's been going on with Britt Baker kind of hurt this match. Apparently, she's got a lot of heat backstage going on in AEW with the women's division. Like I said, out of the women's match, that definitely was the lower tier women's match on the eve contender to her title. Going to be a great match, but Britt Baker losing um, doesn't affect me at all. Doesn't really bother me at all. So it is what it is.
All right.
Now, uh, arguably the match of the night for the AEW International / American Championship.
Yes, sir.
MJF, Will Ospreay, 2. Man, that
Yes,
match
sir.
right there was off
Yes, sir.
the chain. It was definitely legit. Probably, if not I mean, you got Danielson and Swerve Strickland, you got Tony Storm, Mariah May, and then you got Osprey, MJF too. The theatrics at the beginning, the intro with the Assassin's Creed intro with Osprey coming down, and of
The
course
flips and the
MJF.
jump.
Yep, and then MJF looking
Uncle
like
Sam.
yeah, looking like Uncle
Perfect.
Sam, bootleg Captain America, whatever you want to call him.
Listen.
Um, the
Oh, let
entry
me say
going
this
in.
before, let me say this before you go on. When MJF made his entrance and he did his pose and the flag
Mhm.
came down and the streamers came
Yep,
out.
yep,
Them streamers was entwined with the rest of the show
yep.
because they was caught in the rig in the light. So I'm just like, Max, you
But but
asshole.
but you got to remember they did that last year when the Young Bucks came out. When the Bucks had their match, they had the streamers, and the same thing
Right,
happened that last year. But nonetheless,
right.
in ring storytelling was off the chain. Actually, a storyline that even before the match started, MJF got his Dynamite Diamond ring stolen, legit stolen. So he couldn't. So him using the old Steven Regal brass knucks, but they don't look like brass knucks, but we call them brass knucks.
Right.
Tried it, and then of course, my man, the dancing man, hip gyrator, Daniel Garcia coming out
Danny
to
G.
Danny G coming out to make the surprise return revenge. Let MJF know, like, listen, I ain't going nowhere.
Big
Of
Papa.
course,
Yeah.
and of course, Osprey going back to his other finisher, hitting that Tiger Driver 91. He finally did it. Yep, he finally did it. It was nice at the end when was it Christopher Daniels came out and tried to hand him the American title, and he was like, "No, I'm not touching
I
that
want
belt."
that, bro.
So
I want
now
that, bro.
he reestablishes the international championship. Well deserved win for Will Ospreay. So happy for him. Again, this is one of those matches where it's like MJF. He doesn't lose much anyway, but when he does lose it and lose all his losses in AEW has to be to somebody prominent. MJF has never lost to like a Commander or or Wheeler Yuta. If you're going to beat MJF, you got to be a top tier superstar to actually pin MJF. So Will Ospreay getting his win back. It actually sets up a round 3 later on down the road. Maybe that'll be for the AEW World Championship at some point, but we have to wait and see. But again, definitely one of the best matches of the night, if not the best match of the night. Like I said, it's kind of hard because I think Danielson and Swerve Strickland knocked it out of the park for the main event. But another great match. And Will Ospreay, AEW International Champion. Now, this was the matchup here that shocked me because I said it before the pay per view. It all depended on who won this Casino Gauntlet match was going to determine who wins the main event. So I had it that if Hangman Adam Page was going to win, then that means Swerve Strickland was going to win. Since we are going backwards and now knowing that Bryan Danielson won the main event and he's the champion, the Casino Gauntlet match winner, Christian Cage.
Hmm. Throw
Christian.
everybody off, right? Listen, Chris has been telling his own story about how he is going to become world champion, and it doesn't matter how he gets there. And this right here was again a master class in why Christian is so fucking underrated in the twilight of his career, doing the best work, right? And I mean, we talking about Dominic Mysterio levels of heat. Okay, that's a comparison I want to use because you know we hate him. He talk about everybody dead parents all the time, and he is just the worst person, treating Kill Swiss just like the worst type of person. And we want to see him get his, but in the story, he's just it works.
Well, listen,
So
they have.
I mean, but in this casino battle royal, we got Nigel McGuinness.
Mm-hmm,
We got Ricochet.
mm-hmm,
We got the winner of the New Japan G1, Zack Sabre Jr.
mm-hmm.
When I tell you Okada,
You had the Ringmaker.
Hank,
You
listen,
had Roddy Strong in there. You had OC in there. You had some names in there.
highly listen. This for
Hangman
this
taking a guitar shot from Jeff Jarrett or from somebody else. I don't think it was Jeff Jarrett's guitar, but Hangman taking that guitar shot at the end.
Ricochet debut into domestic violence.
Yep.
Look here, man. I was pleasantly surprised at how this battle royal went because they said that hey, in this one, it could end before everybody else gets to the ring because the first two, they could end right there. So to see all of these people get into the match and then to see how everybody just vanishes. Like Ricochet, for example, he debuted crazy pop, crazy moves, and then he was gone. Like you didn't see him anymore. So it was just like, all right, great, great debut. I'm glad he's in AEW. I pray that everything goes the way he wants it to. I pray that he gets a fruitful run. There's plenty of championships in AEW that Ricochet can go after. So I hope that he gets his hands on one and holds it for quite a long time. But that match, man, listen, like I said, Christian is the one you want to have a title shot whenever he wants. So now he could just be a dick teasing whenever he's going to do this title match, and it's just going to make for great TV.
It's definitely going to make for great TV. Christian Cage is now your number one contender to the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And I will say this the storyline that Christian Cage got going, being the leader of the patriarchy. And of course, he's got his heavy and Luchasaurus. I'm sorry, Kill Switch. But they're rewriting the MJF Warlow storyline again. This is what I see. It's basically that same storyline where it's basically Wardlow just got sick and tired of being sick and tired with MJF's antics and being disrespected and being run down until he finally is like, I can't take it no more. We thought we was going to get that with Luchasaurus because of what happened in the very first match of the pay-per-view, which we will get to. But him coming in at the end and hitting the choke slam on his opponent and then basically just man, it was like championship. I'll take that. All right, so our next matchup was the three-way dance, AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR versus the Bucks team. It was a spot fest. I mean, it was a good match. It was just a spot fest. It wasn't really nothing to write home about. The Bucks EVP trigger at the end to get the win. And then at the end, really the end of the match is what I look forward to. The Grizzly Young Vets coming out and making a statement for themselves, grit your teeth.
Beating up on FTR.
Yeah, yeah.
Listen, I thought this match was exactly what it was supposed to be because it's a three-way dance, and you got the Young Bucks, and you got FTR, and you got the Acclaim. That all three of these
Take a
teams.
shot until Omega finding.
It's just a showcase match for
Yeah.
all of them, and they did exactly that. Showcase their talents and abilities, and I was not mad at all that the Young Bucks retained because I mean they have been doing a lot for everybody lately, and it's nice for them to have a Wembley moment because last year they didn't get that Wembley moment. They lost. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice for them to finally get that dub, you know, in the situation dressed like the fucking Beatles. So
Yes.
good time, good TV, man.
Yes. And now the next matchup, we won't spend too much time on it. FTW Championship Hook against Chris Jericho and the Learning Tree. Two things I want to take out of this match. Well, first and foremost, Hook won. Well, three things I'm going to take out of this match. There's only three things that I only really focused on. Taz getting back off the commentary booth, putting my man, what's his name?
Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter. Keith. Yep. Putting him in the Taz. Yep, putting him in the Taz mission. That's the first thing. Second thing, the bounty hunter screaming at Simon Miller on the front row had me cracking up. Simon Miller is one of my favorite wrestling personalities that I watch, wall culture. So love to see that.
Same here, Mr. Ups and Downs. Shout out to you,
Ups
Simon.
And downs. Yes, shout out to you, Simon Miller. Yep, and the last, but certainly not the least, man, Big Bill. The pops, the reaction that he got from the London crowd, man, they turned him babyface without him actually being a babyface. They turned him babyface. So the match itself was, I mean, Chris Jericho you knew he was going to lose the title. Hook finally getting the belt back. I think they need to retire the FTW championship. It's a novelty championship. There's no real significance if you hold that title at this point. It's Hook's title. He got it back. Just retire the belt, and now you can get Hook to move on to bigger and better championships. Chris Jericho's been in the game for a long time. He's going to continue to be in the game for a long time. If he wants to retire, he can retire. But if not, he still got, he still got it in the ring. But like I said, nothing really special about this match. Just wanted to get those three main points out, about that match. Now, you go ahead.
I'll say this about that match as well. I was watching this in the crib, and when Taz got up, I made an audible shriek that worried my neighbors because, like, I was thinking, like, this story is just gonna end. Hook hits the red rum, we go home, everybody's happy, he gets the belt back. When I heard Taz say, "I've been watching this for too long, I'm getting up," I just shrieked, and then I see him put the Taz mission on. And at the end of the match, when he hugged Hook, I was just like, "Yes, that's it." Because the whole time he was professional, you know, Red Hook, New York guy, no emotion, none of that. But it's like that was like the realest part of it. Like that's a father hugging his son after a story that went on for months, dragged on for quite a while. It's finally over, payoff in front of thousands of people. Good stuff.
Yep.
And
And
again,
now,
Big Bill being so over.
hmm,
Like Dad said it in the match, you just move to England and just stay there, and
yep.
everybody will just love you.
Hmm. Exactly. Now we get into, like I said, one of the best top three matches of the evening. AEW Women's World Championship, Timeless Tony Storm versus the glamorous Mariah May.
Good stuff.
Man, the in ring action was unbelievable. They definitely killed it. Um, so many integral storylines going on in the match, from Mariah May drop kicking Luther into the guardrail, Mariah May slapping her mom in the face, to Tony Storm giving Mariah May's mom a hug, giving Mariah May a little bit of Kool-Aid action going on,
Mm-hmm.
and just the conundrum of Tony Storm at the end when she had the heel, wanted to hit her with the shoe, but she said no, I'm not going to do it, and that was her mistake. That was her downfall. Mariah May is now your AEW Women's World Heavyweight champion, and rightfully so. This was a 9-month storyline that they've been telling this narrative, and they paid it off very well with her now being the queen of the AEW Women's Division. And Timeless Tony Storm, the first ever 3-time Women's World Champion. She can take as much as her time off as she wants. I definitely don't believe that this feud is over. You can definitely, if they want to do the rematch at All Out, you can do the rematch at All Out, or you can save it for Full Gear. But like I said, this was one of the top 3 matches of the evening, and it's hard to kind of rank them, like I said before, because you got Danielson, Strickland, you got Ospreay, MJF, and then you got Mariah May, Tony Storm. You could flip any one of these 3 in your 1, 2, 3, but that match was unbelievable, top to bottom. You gave these women 20 good minutes to knock it out the park, and they definitely did that. And like I said, Mariah May, she's now your new AEW's Women's Champion, and good for her.
Yes, sir, ski. Yes, sir, ski. Listen, I feel like Luther played his role in this match perfectly, and I was honestly surprised, but I was happy to see it because nobody's worked harder than her over this past 9 months. Yeah, we all give Tony the props because it's well deserved, and she's been on a run. But you got to stand some. Mariah was working every single week on TV. Like she really had to dress like her and act like her and do her moves just like her for the first half of this feud. So now to see her finally come into her own, doing her own thing, it's money.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, one of them definitely top 3 matches of the night for me as well.
Yep. And then the last match of the evening, which is the first match, is the London ladder match for the AEW Trios Championship. the Patriarchy, the Bang Bang Gang, the House of Black, and what do we call them? You got Pac, you got Wheeler
The
Yuta, you got
Blackpool
Claudia.
Combat Club
I mean,
with Pac.
I don't know, call it the Blackpool Death Triangle Club. Well, it's not the Death Triangle no more because his two partners are now leaving to go to WWE, from what I hear.
Right.
But yes, for Pac getting his London moment, capturing the Trios Championship, and now him targeting, I believe he's targeting Will Ospreay, if I'm not
Yes,
mistaken.
listen, he already had the match sewn up for All Out in
Mm,
Chicago.
yep.
He knows he's facing Will Ospreay for that
Mm,
international championship. He wanted that championship match
mm.
for Wembley, but it didn't happen. So he's getting it at All Out.
Yes,
So can't wait
and
to
that
see that.
that matchup is going to be amazing. And like I said, playing into the storyline from what happened into the Gauntlet match, Luchasaurus was going to pull down the belt, and Christian was like, "No, let me do it." And then they flubbed that up. And then at the end of the match, you could see Luchasaurus being mad and walking away from Christian. But of course, it was a ruse, like I said, because we're working backwards. He came in and eventually helped Christian Cage become the number one contender. But like I said before, this story is not over. This story is written for a reason. The turn will happen. Luchasaurus will become a face again, or at least he'll just break away from Christian at some point. Don't know when it's going to happen, but like I said, that yeah. But like you said, you got Pac, you got Willie Yuta, and you got Claudio. You know, the Combat Club. They're your trios champions. So,
Yes,
and that
sir.
pretty much is the AEW All In pay per view.
Yes.
Of notes, in other notes, Jamie Hayter made her return. Back from her
Hey,
injury. So Jamie Hayter,
haterade.
yep. So Jamie Hayter is back. Um, that was pretty much the only real thing that I could mention from the pre-show, because pre-show they had a couple matches on, a couple people got in, a couple people got some paydays going on, but that's about it. But yeah, AEW All In London too. It was a
Oh,
really good pay per view. Like I said,
great
one or
time.
two matches really missed the mark. Like I said, the coffin match missed the mark for me just because it was your typical Darby Allin match, and I really disliked the Mercedes Moné Britt Baker match. Like I said, you could tell the backstage beef was in the ring, and they just didn't have that chemistry. I'm pretty sure that these two women, if you give them enough time and let them do it again, they'll have another good match. But well, on this night, it just didn't click.
Mm. Well, hey, listen, this sounds like a great night of pro wrestling, and we also got another great night of pro wrestling tonight at Monday Night Raw, because that is when we are shooting this. Happy Labor Day to everybody
Happy
that's
Labor Day.
the day of not working to
Mm-hmm.
just turn around and go to work tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, if we ain't got nothing else to add, we got some business to go attend to. So let's get ready to
Mhm.
sign off. Where can they find you on all the socials and whatnot?
You can you can find me on Ali underscore Insta 2024. You can find me on Facebook. Yeah, that's where I'm at most of the time. And shout out to my man Uncle Black, for doing this downtime in the ring. This was definitely a fun show, to say the least,
Oh
on this
no,
special
no,
day.
no! This is 2.5 Heels. Downtime in the Ring is a separate show
Okay.
available on YouTube right now, which you can go subscribe to and
Yes.
check them out. And also, too, while you brought them up, shout out to them because they just ran Duke City Championship Wrestling, and
Nice.
from the looks of it, from what I saw, it was huge. Like it was a cage match and everything. So go over
Mm,
there, check out their page, their
mm,
Patreon, go
mm,
sign up. And while you're at it, go check out our Patreon too. It's available.
mm.
Patreon.com/2.5 heels. Go subscribe. We gonna have interviews over there, all exclusive thingamabobs. And I don't know, we may have Blondie over there. I don't know,
You might have
possibly.
you might have Blondie over there.
We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. That's Blondie. Hey, Blondie. We may have her over there.
Mhm.
Make sure you go follow me on the socials. That's Uncle Black 215 on the YouTube, Uncle Black 215, and follow our Instagram at 2.5 heels. And you know what? Why not? Go follow Bree too while you're at it.
Mhm.
Bree 99 period with two
With
underscores.
two
Go follow
underscores.
her while we at it. And with that being said, thank you all for watching. Appreciate y'all for showing up. Shout out to everybody on Twitch too. Because
Yes.
we getting active over on Twitch. Shout out to everybody over there as well. And with that being said, we will see you guys with the next episode. Hopefully, with the whole gang here, Bria be back by then.
Yes.
So see you guys next episode.